Spectrum, the full spectrum.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 28 of RollPlay for Verona. I'm your Space Master, Adam Coble, and it's officially spring. I checked. It's officially spring, and you know how I can tell? All of my goddamn neighbors are mowing their lawns, and I can't breathe through my nose anymore. Must be spring. Thanks, nature. Welcome back. Hey, look, there you go. There's Max. Hi, buddy. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Welcome back to the show. It feels like it's been a million years. Anne, I'm gonna start by checking up on you because you and I are living a mirrored life, a mirrored dental life. Not but a week and a bit ago, I had the same situation as you, where I went into the dentist and I was like, "This isn't gonna be a big deal," and they were like, "Your face is so fucked up. We have to do it. We're gonna take your face off and give you a new face." It was great. Yeah, it was fantastic. Other than that, how's things going? Have you moved recently? Like since the last time I talked to you?
My mixer is broken on top of the other things that are wrong with my life. So I was like, you guys couldn't hear me, and I was like, that's weird. Life has been a nightmare hellscape for the past couple of weeks. So I have to have my tooth extracted. I didn't have it done. Supposed to have that done on Tuesday, but I decided not to and just to wait. I moved. For those of you who didn't know, I moved here to this house at the beginning of February, and I'm moving this weekend to a new house. So I'm packing and all that stuff. I was gone over the weekend because I was taking stuff to my new house, and I got a phone call from my mom that on Sunday one of my dogs had a seizure, and she had to take her to the hospital. And so she was hospitalized, and now she's on anti-seizure meds. She's had a couple more seizures since then. She's now laying under my desk, and she is doing better.
That's good.
But she's been like kind of just in a bad place, and so I've been like sleeping on the sofa to like keep her company and stuff like that. And she's been, she's a little bit like when they give you anti-seizure meds, it's like it makes you kind of off balance, and like she's kind of not fully with it while her brain kind of rewires and is like, okay, don't have seizures. So she's gonna take some time to like get used to that, and she's definitely doing a lot better, which is great. But it's just the past few days have been kind of not a lot of sleep.
Yeah.
So I actually haven't slept in the past 2 days, so it's weird being at a computer.
Yeah, kudos for keeping it together and for being a good dog mom. That kind of stuff is always so like, and it's funny too, at least in my experience, where like you got a bunch of bad shit happening to you and you're like, okay, this sucks. And then something bad happens to like a friend or a loved one or a pet, and you're just like, you just ablate all of your own shit. You're like, whatever, don't worry about that. I have to save you. So it's if it's not one thing, it's another. Well, I'm glad that Nala's doing better. That's nice to hear. I know that everybody was pulling for her, so that's cool.
And
so you're still doing the move? That's still happening?
Yes, I am moving Friday, and the new house that I'm moving to has fiber internet, so I'm pretty stoked about that. Because I've lived in 3 houses in the past 4 years, and every one of them has had terrible internet issues that are apparently unfixable by anything. So
I hope that the next time that you have to move, it is into the grave. I hope that's the next move for you.
Yeah. When I like decide that I really want to move and not like I'm being forced to move against my will. So.
That too. That's a fine option too. Yeah, that one also could be good. Yep. Yeah. Well, I hope the move goes. We've talked about this. I feel like we've had this conversation so many times, and every time I have that feeling, I'm like, oh, Anne, You poor bastard. So I hope it goes well. I hope you get there. I hope that your first stream, you have like 1 million followers and that your internet is more fast than you need. I hope that the bottleneck becomes Twitch and not you.
Double fiber. I move in and
Yeah,
I'm like, oh,
just
surprise, I have
rip it
double
down.
fiber.
Yeah. Surprise, we installed this super cool internet because we know you've had trouble with it. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah. Well, that's good. Get things together. You got one more big hurdle, and then it's back to normal. I hope for you. Max, my dear. What
Hi.
exciting things have you been? What exciting things have you been up to in the last 12 and a bit, 18 hours? You were streaming. I always think it's fun because we can actually talk about stuff because it's not like for me when we're done Court of Swords, I just go to bed, and then I do like a little short show in the morning, but I don't usually have much to offer. But you're a late streamer, so you're up doing shit. What were you playing last night, and how did it go?
I was playing Satisfactory last night. I'll tell you what's not satisfactory right now, though, Adam. They delivered my drink with no straw. My problems.
What is it? Just they didn't give you one of those new lids with the little sippy bit? You just have like a flat lid with no straw?
No, I ordered a venti. There's no straw. It's okay. I have
so are you gonna? What are you gonna do? Are you just gonna take the lid off and try to just drink it? Like
eventually, I'm gonna get up and go grab a metal straw from downstairs, like the adult I am, because I have contingencies for these sorts of things. No, actually, last night I played Satisfactory. Did the early access of it before it was like the early test or whatever. So now it's like from tiers 4 to 6 are unlocked for stuff. Do you know anything about Satisfactory, Adam?
I know a bit. Yep.
Yeah. So for those people that don't know, it's like Factorio, if you've ever heard of that game, but in 3D and a lot more detailed and stuff. Made by the people from Coffee Stain, which is funny because like the last thing I remember them making was Goat Simulator, and then it's like,
oh, that's right. Here's
what we've actually been working on. You know, like those guys are good, and they've got a good sense of humor about the game and stuff. But it's basically really detailed fun. If you like making factories and trying to streamline efficiency, or not making it efficient and making factories that work, that works too. And you survive on an alien planet to make stuff and get resources for some sort of company that is in space, being like, hey,
and
do that more.
It's a 4-player multiplayer.
It can be more than 4 players. We there's like a little thing that you can modify in the .ini like game file, and you can just make it up to 16, but that's like untested. Damn. We did 5 players last night, relatively painlessly. There's a couple like crashes and things like that happen here and there, but we kind of expected that. It was not enough to completely hinder us doing what we were doing. But that game is super fun, especially if you got some buds to play with. I'm gonna play it a little bit more tonight. Yeah, it's good times. Super fun.
Cool. Does it have any kind of like end game, or is it just like maximizing your factory perfection?
Well, right now, since it's early access, I think it only goes up to a certain like tier that like it's not full game. You know what I mean? They're still like adding it, but there's a lot more that's in it now than that was not in the early test weekend or whatever they had. So there's like new creatures and stuff that are running around. There's new tiers higher. It gets more and more complex. So eventually, like initially you're making like iron rods and like, steel plates and things like that. But eventually you make factories that go into other factories or that go into other like machines to make, like you'll have your assembly parts, like your iron rods and whatever else you need over here to make X, complicated thing. And then that complicated thing can go into the next thing. You know what I mean? So you have constructors and assemblers and all sorts of stuff like that. It's really cool. But yeah, I don't know exactly where the limit is because I haven't read the like patch notes for where the end game is here, but I don't think the end game's in yet because it's early access and it's not finished technically. But for early access and even for the test weekend, I mean, it's a solid game. It runs really well, mainly.
That's nice to hear.
Super detailed. And
it's such a gamble too, like playing, because I know you've had this direct issue before because you play a lot of games early access or like day of release or whatever. But yeah, that's a gamble where you're like, I'm gonna play this brand new game, everybody. We're gonna install it the minute it comes out, and we're gonna just boot up the stream, and you're like, oh, okay, it doesn't work at all. So it's nice that you didn't run into that problem.
Some games are satisfactory. That works 2 ways. And then other games are Atlas, where everything's horrible off launch, and people still play it for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's no accounting for taste.
Yeah, but the big thing that I want to talk about before we move on is they announced the mega update for Sea of Thieves. I'm so excited. Oh,
so what makes an update? What makes an update a mega update?
Mega update. Well, It's their anniversary since it came out, I believe, and this is just announcing a lot of the stuff that like myself and my friends that I play with and a lot of the community from Sea Thieves have been wanting, like cooking, fishing, different what's it called, stuffs that you can damage more on the ships, as far as like breaking the masts, making bigger holes in the ship, so it's not just always the same standardized hole or whatever. Being able to knock out the anchor of a ship, so being able to do more like complicated damage, so that way you have more complex battles and mechanics to deal with, rather than just like, so it'll reward people for being good at the game in combat. You know what I mean?
Like
instead of just
granularity. Yeah,
exactly.
That makes sense. Because like normally, you don't want to just be able to be like, we fire the cannon at the boat. Cool, the boat takes a damage. You want to be able to be like, we're gonna take out their guns and then we're gonna do. Yeah, okay, all right.
The mega update got shut down. I don't know if this is technically like labeled the mega update, but it is to me, because it's a hell of a lot of stuff that we've been asking for. There's also like harpoons and stuff if you're like hunting, megalodons and shit like that. And then they have like some other stuff that looks like it's coming soon. It's not like they're basically outlining in the video saying like, this is what's coming, you know what I mean, in the next whatever.
Right, it's the beginning of a new patch cycle with a bunch of
they did it. I think that when it starts is April 30th. Which
April 30th. Okay, so we can expect after April 30th to see more Max on stream with a fancy hat playing his hurdy-gurdy.
I'm just gonna be Pirate Max. Yep.
Perfect.
All the time.
Good. Well,
wearing my really heavy pirate captain's coat.
Dig out your hurdy-gurdy, turn up your air conditioning, and start practicing, because I'm gonna be real with you, Max. You need the practice, buddy.
Yeah, it was the instrument. Okay, it's partly the instrument, partly me. I really wanted to get that electronic hurdy-gurdy that I found online, but like I said, the waiting list is like, just a couple years, because it's like one guy building it and wherever he lives. Anyways, enough about what I got going on.
I hope that you get the electro-gurdy that you so desperately deserve
one day,
as soon as possible. But for now, we'll just have to hang on and listen to the analog version, which is fine. It's fine. It's fine. Bronze, I saw somebody cosplayed your character from your Geek and Center show, and the cosplay was real good. How did that feel? How was that for you, seeing that? Because it seems pretty cool from where I'm sitting. Yeah.
It was definitely weird though, but like in a cool way, and that's kind of awesome, because I think like we just role play our characters, and then you realize they become like actual characters, and that's kind of awesome. Like it's kind of neat. You like make something and then it's out there in the universe and people do what they want with it, and it's like a cool feeling for sure.
Yeah, it's a weird step up from fan art, right? Where someone was like, I heard you describe a thing that was only in your head before you described it, and then I dressed up as it. Dressed up as the thing you described. And that's like that's very strange.
Yeah, it was cool.
Cosplay. It looked really cool. Yeah,
it was awesome. And it was like, it's like a whole new level of like, I guess like appreciation, I guess, because I think sometimes with roleplay stuff you feel like people, how do I say it? People only see you as the character, and that's how you know you did a really good job, is when people can see themselves as the character. They can see the character separate from you. That's how you know that you've like succeeded as a role player. I feel like when you hit that point that it's not like your face with that character, but just like a fully, like, it's like its own thing.
Yeah,
it exists on its own.
Totally. Yeah, and seeing a whole bunch of different variations of a character too, where like 5 or 6 different people draw them, and you're like, oh, this looks so different from person to person based on like what they picked up that you described. We have a fan artist. They did some art yesterday for the Court of Swords episode, where I asked them once, I was like, your art is different from all the other fan art we get because you just draw the streamer in the situation that their character's in, like just in the clothes they're wearing on the stream. And the guy said, he's like, oh, I just missed the early episode, so I don't know what anybody's character looks like, so I just draw Max instead of Berg, or I draw Dan instead of Ramus. And it's pretty good. Yeah, it ends up making it much funnier because it's so out of context. But it's very cool. I like that. I think, I'm trying to think about cosplay. I think the only cosplay I can think of for many things is that we did was someone did a cosplay of Marcus, of DJ Wheat's character from Mirror Shades, and that was the first one. Somebody dressed up as Dodger's slime character from Nebula Jazz too. And even though nobody's ever cosplayed as my character, it's so cool seeing like an in real life embodiment of the things that you've been imagining in your head for like months sometimes. It's very, very cool to see that going on. So you've
Yeah,
been
for
getting,
sure.
I assume, like a ton of positive feedback for doing that relics action.
Yeah, my character was
That's
really
good.
popular, so that was cool. And we're gonna be at WonderCon in a couple weeks here for a Relics and Rarities panel. So if you're going to WonderCon, drop by and say hello, and we'll be answering questions and
cool.
stuff about the series. And yeah, it's been a really cool experience. It was really cool getting close with that group of people and getting to play D&D with them, and I had a really good time. So
Yeah. So now that they've had a chance to come and visit your world of role-playing games, does this mean you get to be like in a superhero Netflix TV show, or is that how that works?
No, I don't know about that. I know that Deborah and I have been talking about like me GMing for her because she's curious about what my style is. So
Cool.
it's kind of cool because like we all like learn from each other, and it's neat to have like that sort of collaborative like GM style. Because we all take things from each other, and so like it's because we all have different house rules, and it's kind of nice to like look into things from that perspective. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, cool. And I think that's why like role-playing games as a form, like an excuse to collaborate with people, is so good, because you can just be like, cool, well, we'll hang out and you do this job and we'll do these jobs, and then the next time we do a thing, we can all shuffle around and somebody else can do this thing. And it's really cool.
A lot of the first groups I ever played with, like off camera, were groups where the GM rotated. And so I never was used to the concept of one person GMing all of the time, because all of my friends' groups, like people switch out every few weeks, or, sometimes even every session. And so it's a little weird, like when you come into this space where you have people that are like designated GMs, because that was not my experience. But I mean, yeah, it's kind of interesting to think about.
Yeah, it's a different thing from group to group. Like for me, I had the opposite, where there was like 2 or 3 people who learned to be good GMs, and then everybody else would just play in whatever configuration in the games that they wanted to run. But we, like, other people would try, they'd like try it out, but for the most part we had 2 or 3 people that were like, yeah, this is the thing, this is the job I like doing, instead of like, this is the thing. But yeah, there's definitely groups that rotate. Now, would you have GMs rotating within the same like campaign, or was it like different people running different games, like in different
It's
universes
usually
for
like different
characters?
people running different games, because sometimes like people get tired of playing the same character, and so it's nice to be able to like switch gears, and you'll have like, your stereotypical like, in this setting magic doesn't exist, and then you'll have your like, this one's just classic, Ravenloft.
In this
or
one,
whatever.
Everything is magic.
Yeah.
Those are the
So you
two.
have,
Those are the
like,
2 settings. Everything is magic and nothing is magic.
Yeah. Like the mana well was destroyed and there's no magic in the world, and that's like supposed to. I've been in like 4 or 5 games that are like that, honestly. So like that's been a thing. It has been. I guess this is a little bit of a tangent, but it's kind of cool because with Alpha going away, all of that stuff from Geek and Sundry is slowly being rolled out on
Your
YouTube and Twitch.
tangent is my segue. Thank you for that.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool, because it's like all the relic stuff, all of like, and I assume their vault in general is gonna be coming to YouTube and to Twitch. So that's like kind of awesome. I don't know what their plan for that is, because I'm not privy to that information, but I know Relics they're up to, I think, episode 3 now is up on YouTube, and then they've also been live streaming them on Twitch. So for those people that didn't like the paywall, like now it's like this, like all this awesome content is going to be coming to these other platforms. It's going to be a little bit more accessible.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that kind of content, blast from the past for me and Mark. No, I don't know if you knew that they were going to do that, but I suddenly had all these people tweeting at me about this roundtable thing, and I was just like, why? We did this ages ago. Why is this happening? Who's what? Oh, they put it on YouTube.
Yep. The same thing.
That was fun. I went back and watched that, and I was like, who are these children? Who are these babies? What is this?
It was like when you tweeted and you said, like, I think this was the first time you met, and I was like, yes, it was, because I remember being extremely intimidated and nervous because I'd kept hearing about you, and I was like, oh God, I don't know what I'm talking about. Why am I on the show? And yeah, I was really nervous that day. That whole day of filming, it was scary, but it was good.
Yeah,
it was
we
really
were there.
fun.
I forgot that the video. So we're talking about. There's a roundtable that Mark and I did. That was me and Mark and this little known Matt something or other guy, and we talked about role playing games. And this was ages ago. and we were there. Like you did too, and I did too, and we were both there all day, and we recorded for like 4 hours, but the video is only 20 minutes long. So it's interesting watching it and being like, oh, these are the things that they chose from the 4 hours of us rambling.
Yeah, because I did my other one with Bronze. That was the other one I did.
Yeah.
Was I did one with you and Matt, and then I did one with Bronze and David Knapp, which was really cool as well.
I love David. He's a very good friend of mine.
He's a cool dude, man. Like he's just one of those really nice dudes.
Yeah.
He invited
I was
me
very
out to
lucky
his
enough
gym.
to work with him again because now there's what is it? Game Masters Hall is going on episode by episode. I think they just dropped the first episode with Ivan Van Norman and Becca Scott. And me and David got to work together on that too. So we've worked together on like 3 or 4 projects now. So him and I are pretty close. But that was the first time I met Mark. So
yeah, right. And I think that was happening for a lot of people because that was the first time that I had met Satine Phoenix and like a bunch of other people that were just there waiting for like their turn to do the thing. So yeah, it was kind of cool. I remember just hanging out and waiting for our chance to go on. So that was neat. Nice little blast from the past. It was funny because I'm talking about this new campaign that I'm starting called Nebula Jazz, which I have like long filed away as being very done. So it's kind of cool getting to see what I was thinking about that stuff at the time. Besides being re-immersed in the ancient past, what have you been up to, dude?
Not a lot really. I took kind of unintentionally took a week off because I've switched over to a new diet and it messed me up real bad. Just like made me really miserable. Yeah, it made me real miserable and sad, and I just couldn't get my head in the right space. But I'm feeling a lot better now, and so I'm kind of getting on top of things, planning out some new cool stuff, and just doing a lot of the same stuff. Like we did our redubbing of Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring. We did that again this morning, which was really fun. That's a real good laugh to do.
So you're like 20, 25 minutes in now, or
we're 25 minutes, Adam. What do you think we are? 17 minutes, and we've skipped 4 minutes of it because we were getting bored of the opening battle sequence. No, we just jumped ahead to the Shire. No, we've done about 13 minutes worth of footage, and it's still not finished. In terms of there's still stuff we're like, oh, we should go back and add some fire sounds because there's the fireplace there, and we should add sounds for this. But we've mainly been like jumping ahead and doing loads of dialogue, and because we've set the rule that we're not allowed to like look it up, we're not allowed to rewatch it. We have to do everything from memory. So the dialogue, there's just huge chunks where we're like, I have no idea what they're saying here, so we just improv like random shit, and then we'll suddenly remember the line, and then it cuts back to the script for like a couple of lines, and then we jump back in and do a bunch of stuff. It's fun to do. It's a good laugh.
That's great. Yeah, I'm super into it. I'm sorry that I overestimated how far you'd gotten. I remember us talking about this before. You're not going to be done until the year 3000. So
no, we're really not. What we're hoping is because they've just announced that they're doing like a little convention here in the UK for like all of the Yogscast stuff because it's on the Yogscast Twitch. We're gonna premiere whatever we've done up to that point at the convention, but also do a recording session there. So we can do like all the big battle sounds and like do all like the big crowd sounds and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that sounds perfect because then you'll have a bunch of people and you can say like, all right, everybody, we need you to yell in Orcish.
Yeah, we want to just be like loud orcs, and we'll just record that, and then we'll do the same thing for like, okay, now you're all humans, do the same thing, and just get a little Waller and stuff like that. So it'd be fun. It's worth checking out. So I should post up once we've got like a coherent amount done, I'll post it up on like Twitter and stuff so people can see what we've been doing. Good laugh.
Yeah, that sounds great. Cool. That seems like a good way to spend your time. And if you know what, if fun. People like it, content is a magical thing. As long as people will watch it, it's worth doing. So I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's what they've been doing a lot on the Yogscast Twitch is they've been like trying out like just random things of like, we're going to do a Lego building stream. We're going to do this kind of stream. We're going to do this kind of stream. And we just pitched it as this dumb idea. And it's actually proven to be, pretty good and pretty successful. So we're going to keep going until we don't get the viewers anymore, basically.
Right. Yeah. Keep doing it until no one cares.
Until it gets canceled. Well, if you basically say every week.
If you ever need to do a sequel and you want somebody who kind of half remembers some of the lines from Blade Runner, gotcha. We could do like all the awkward love scenes. It'd be fantastic. I'd be really into it. You have to be Rachel though.
Okay, sure.
Or I guess you get to be Rachel and I would have to be Deckard, but yeah, it's a fun idea. All right, let's catch up and let's write some goals and then let's see what happens to a couple of boys who might get arrested. So when last we left you, we were split in two. Vicky and Nomi were investigating a Prism. I think it was like a security system on an old, like a shutdown shop, and you were getting some information from there. And this was the last place that anyone, any system saw the cab that carried the now dead Friedrich Lang to you. This was where the beginning of that happened. The false Nomi is with you, given to you by the Immortal Association to help you lay a trap for these assassins who are following you. So that's where y'all were at, and you had basically given Gabriel and Booker sort of carte blanche to go and do what you got to do. Go and see your thing. We're gonna keep working the job. And the two of you got high on drugs and tore up a church. So that's fun that happened. And I think that
that's one way of putting it.
That's one way of putting it. Yeah.
Okay. Would you like? How would you phrase what the two of you just did?
I would say Booker, being the good detective that he was, went to go check on his other good friend, Crusader Gabriel, realized some nefarious things were afoot, and had to battle with an assassin. Then, once realizing and stabilizing his friend Crusader Gabriel, and making sure that morale and our just physical well-being was boosted to a level where we could perform.
Yep.
Given the current circumstances, then proceeded to follow said assassin in his trail, which happened to lead into a building that may have had some sort of relationship to a church of some sort. Could have been a front.
They're housing terrorists, so that basically makes them terrorists. So.
Exactly.
That is the assumption. Yep.
That's how I would look at it too.
So this,
I agree with Max. I agree.
Yeah. Well, what's happening right now is I'm describing what happened, and Max is describing what Booker will file in his report to Crux HQ about how this happened. So that's good. Yeah. Best not to mention all the drugs.
Set up.
Yeah. So let's talk about what everybody wants to accomplish this turn. I feel like Nomi and Vicky, Operation Snake Basket is like, you just got to figure out how to lure them out, and then you can snap the trap shut. Because you've got some vehicles, you got some extra dudes, you got your friend, Foamy, and you're kind of coming close to figuring that one out. I don't know how much more you want to investigate before you're ready to set up the trap. And then Gabriel and Booker, if you can get these cops off your back, these regular towny cops off your back, then you may be able to finish exploring this room. Because I believe that Max, one of the last things you said was, "There's blood on the keyboard. He's got to be around here somewhere." So if you want to,
that might have come out of my mouth, maybe.
It was something like that, yeah. Because the last place you were was in a room where there was this like little computer terminal or little reading terminal, and there was a spot of blood on the keyboard, and then nothing. There's no window out of here. There's no footprints, and your searching got interrupted by these cops. So, what does everybody want to do today? What do you want your goals to be? Start with Nomi. Nomi, what do you want to accomplish this time around?
I guess I want to find the person responsible for Friedrich Lang's death, or at least determine the identity of whoever killed Friedrich Lang. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, because then you want to pin a name to the face, because you have part of a scan, right? So determine their identity. Okay, cool. And then Vicky, what do you want to do?
Probably just execute the operation.
Yeah, right. Capture them. Do the thing. Okay.
Yeah, we had all creepy fake Nomi.
Fake Nomi is not any creepier than real Nomi. Okay, let's be realistic.
Incorrect.
She's just embracing the role.
Way creepier.
What do you mean?
I mean, maybe by nature.
I need to check on Booker and Crusader Gabriel.
She's creepy in the way method actors are creepy.
Yeah.
She's the Jared Leto of Nomis.
She's like beyond that. She's like the Tropic Thunder, like, you know,
Robert
level
Downey.
of yeah. Just like I forgot who I am. What do you mean we people? That level of like creepy.
Yeah. Good. I got it. That's her job, but it's okay. Equally creepy. Yeah. But in a different way. Okay. Booker, what do you want to do?
Probably track down this assassin.
Yeah, sure.
Either track down this assassin or escape police custody, but I don't think that'll last too long. Probably just track down the assassin.
I hope not.
And then we'll never track down the assassin, and I won't get XP, which is okay. It's fine, I guess.
Okay, so we're gonna track down.
I'll never accomplish.
I'm gonna put the assassin in quotes because this person hasn't actually assassinated anybody. But yes,
Tried though.
They definitely have tried twice now. If it's the same person, and then Gabriel.
Same thing as I had last time. Apprehend the person trying to kill me.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So you and Booker are on the same page.
Mhm.
Same page.
Okay. Apprehend the attempted assassin.
You see, chat.
Okay.
You don't say track down and kill the assassin, because if they get away from you, you still track them down.
Yep. There you go. Max is learning. You write a goal you can accomplish, and you want to not nest it because then you won't get your XP. Exactly. Okay. So let's begin maybe with that scene. So Booker and Gabriel, the chapel that you are in, the Light of All Souls chapel center thing, worship center, called the cops after you, I think, pistol whipped the dude at the front door.
He was being non-responsive and disrespectful, and he needed to be pistol whipped.
He was stalling. He was stalling.
Yep. Right. Yeah, sure. Needed to be as we'll go with it. So
Impeding an ongoing investigation.
Yes.
once he recovered, he called the police, who have just responded. And there's a group of them. They're not like riot cops or anything, but they're armed as most crooks officers are, and they've showed up because two insane people came into this place and started tearing the joint up. The two of you are kind of jammed into this room. The carpet is like pulled away from the floor and rolled up to one side. There's blood on the keyboard, and the two of you are in this room, and the cops have like come up and they're pointing their guns at you. And when we fade in, there's like the cops shouting at you like, "Get on the floor, drop your weapons." What do the two of you do?
Well, I don't have any weapons. Visible.
Yeah.
I look at Booker like, these fucking idiots. Like, we don't have time for this.
Yeah. Booker's like, well, he wouldn't have his weapon out right now because he's like tearing at the carpet and stuff. I need to know who's on the carpet duty and who's on.
Who's standing on the desk and who's like kneeling on the floor?
You were on the desk.
I
was on the carpet. If I remember correctly.
Right. Yeah. Gabriel's like pulling the carpet up, and Booker, you were standing on the desk, touching the ceiling.
Touching the ceiling. So I'm like, oh. Like, we do not have time for this.
Yeah, and he the cop is the cop pointing the gun at you. He's got his like helmet on with his like face visor, and so you can see his little hood, and he like it's doing like a threat scan of you. And he points his guns at you, and he says, "Listen, tweaker, I don't care what you got time for. Get on the floor."
Oh, for goodness sake! Do you even know who you're speaking to, officer?
He looks down at you, and he says, "Hands behind your back. Get down on the floor," and like he just points the gun at you, and he says, "We'll figure out who we're speaking to when we get you downtown. Come on."
You got a facial recognition on that scanner of yours, yeah, on the visor?
Yeah, you're facing away from him, so you're kind of like looking over your shoulder.
Why don't you go ahead and fucking use it?
And then he faces him.
Okay, yeah. So you turn around. He like points the gun up a little at you when you like move anywhere that isn't like getting on the floor. And yeah, pointing one hand, one of the gun at you, he reaches up and he activates something on his faceplate. Yeah. And you've been in his position, so you know what he's looking at. He knows he'll find out who you are, but I feel like the Crusaders' records have been expunged purposefully. Like I think that he doesn't know, he can't possibly find out who the Crusader is, right?
Except through me. You know, I mean, he's just gonna
Yeah,
Clearly
yeah,
win
yeah.
Booker.
Well, waiting for his response to that.
Yeah. So he.
And Booker like lowers his gun if he has it out, and he just. Like,
I imagine you didn't have your gun out because you were using both hands. To,
yeah.
like, check.
So it's probably just I'm probably just step down from the thing and just like like.
Yeah. Okay. So he recognizes you obviously, and you see his gun like go down a little bit, and he's kind of keeping it pointed generally at Gabriel, but not like directly.
And right now, he interrupts that like his train of thought. And right now, if you're any halfway decent officer, you're realizing that any sort of face can be faked with enough technology and somebody skilled at doing it. What you're going to want to now is go and come forward to me slowly, making sure that I have no weapon drawn at you, keep me covered, and to verify my chip. Isn't that right? Go ahead.
So
why don't
you know
follow
you're
protocol?
right. Yeah, you know you're right, and you know he's right, and you, my friend Booker Greaves, you have an uncanny kind of charisma about you. He's not openly hostile. So make a charisma and lead charisma check with lead, and we'll see if he follows you because you're using your authority. You're like, I know what you're doing. This is what the book says you got to do.
Yeah, but don't I just? Do I even have to roll using authority?
Yes.
Believe you do. Yeah.
You still have to roll.
Okay, what am I rolling?
Roll lead with charisma.
Lead with charisma. You got it. Joel got it, man.
Okay. See how it goes. Okay. All right. So he like lowers the gun and then holsters it, and he puts a hand up to the other cops to be like, yeah, don't, okay, just fuck off, guys. Like stay back. And they back up. And he says, there's nothing on file about an ongoing investigation in this place, Officer Greaves.
That's because sometimes you can't officially file a report when you're trying to track down someone who attempted to assassinate you or one of your associates.
And then Booker looks at Crusader Gabriel to like kind of fill in the.
Yeah, he follows he tilts his head and he looks at it and he looks back at you and he says, your friend here doesn't have a record. That's a violation.
You can file that with Crux and the Church of the Messiah. Crusader Gabriel, I'm here on specific business, and you won't find a file because I'm generally kept off the books. We're dealing with a very serious threat here, officer, and quite frankly, we could use your help. This being, and I use the word purposefully, has already attempted to kill me twice. We're very close. We tracked it into here. We know it's around somewhere.
Nice, good deflection. Okay, so
yeah.
let's have you roll a follow up.
Okay.
You can roll a talk roll with charisma and give yourself a +1 because you're using the momentum from Booker's authority.
Yep. Hey.
Okay, nice. All right, so he's listening. He pauses and he says, "You think this place has got synths?"
I'll look at him and I'll say, myself and Agent Greaves just fought him while he tried to kill me. He took several blaster rounds as well as several stabs with a knife, and he walked away. Tell me a normal man can do that.
And he nods and he says,
close to that.
I didn't realize. I'm sorry, officer. I'm gonna have to call this in, but he looks over his shoulder at the other three who are kind of just like at ease in the other room. He says, I'm gonna have to call this in, but if you need any help, consider them at your disposal. Excuse me. And he turns and he walks past them, and he goes out and you can see him like turn on his comms.
I'm gonna like eye Booker suspiciously, like I don't know, like maybe this guy can't be trusted.
Can I? And this is gonna maybe I'm having you roll a luck or something like that. It would be. I'm trying to see if Booker can have some sort of like just personal dampening field to like just to like mess with his communications, and he wouldn't be able to figure out. Like, he's like, God damn, the comm isn't working.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that's a lot. That's a lot to ask to just be like randomly carrying that around.
Okay, instead of that, could maybe Booker have like know the the local cop frequency that he might call this in to just check and see if he's actually doing what he said? That seems like something a bit more.
Especially if he's operating on Crux frequencies.
Yeah,
and
if he says that he's going to report this in, would Booker know what kind of call that would be and like what frequency on the comms or something that might be?
Well, you don't know the local number to the precinct or whatever, but you could confirm later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once he drops the report, you would know what to ask for to call in to be like, hey, I need to check on a report from an officer or whatever. Like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that you could do.
Okay.
Yeah, but he walks off into the other room to make that call, and the other three heard that conversation, and they're like waiting to see if you need anything, and they're also kind of confused because they thought they came here to arrest you, and one of them was all ready to pistol whip somebody, and he had that taken away from him.
He still might get the chance. He still might. We need to tear this place apart. I want to find this floor. Where's the hidden floor? I know it's here somewhere. Where is it, Adam? It's got to be here.
Okay, all right. So you want? How do you propose that happens?
Well, I think Gabriel goes back to what he was doing, which is checking to see if there's some sort of secret panel in the floor, because that was his instinct.
Yeah.
And then I'll let Booker deal with the rookies.
Yeah, Booker goes up to the three of them. You three, you want to be useful.
Like they kind of like they don't know if that's a rhetorical question or they should answer or what.
So, yes, of course you do. What else are you doing anyways? The perpetrator that we were tracking down here obviously came in this room, left a blood splatter from his wounds on the keyboard there. The trail does not show him going back out of this room, so it means you must conclude that he used some sort of secret compartment or passageway inside here. But if you would like to assist us, it would go much faster. And who knows, maybe you'll actually see some action. Sure, you don't see a whole lot of that.
And they kind of like look at each other like, okay, yeah, you can tell us what to do.
Start looking around. Anything that seems like it's off.
Okay, all right. So they do. Do you want them like this room is small, like no more than two people can fit it in at a time anyway? Do you want them to go and like scope the rest of the place out?
Yeah.
Make sure you didn't miss anything.
Kind of,
should we have them check? Because we did like a hasty search, but maybe these guys can do like a more thorough.
Okay. Yeah. So they leave to do that. They're gonna go kick everybody out and like establish a perimeter and do that stuff. But they're not detectives, so that's fine. They're just like B cops, so they're gonna go and do that. And then the two of you resume your ransacking of this room.
And one more thing.
Sir.
Pistol whip that guy in the front again.
Yeah, on your way out, pistol whip somebody for me, would you?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do? You're gonna just search the place?
Yeah.
Because your initial searches turned up nothing, which is why you were so frustrated and like climbing on the furniture.
Yeah, but
we had a quick thing. But I had this thing of like maybe like the compartment was like hidden underneath the carpet, or like there's a secret door that we missed or something like that. Because like
clearly touched
it was only one
keyboard.
Yeah, like
they did.
Let's go
yes.
activate something.
Mm-hmm.
Like he didn't leave.
Yeah, right. There's a login. There's a login screen on the computer, and the carpet has been ripped up, and the ceiling panels have been prodded at a few times.
And there's just nothing still. There's no like.
Well, I mean, you can make another you can make a roll if you're examining the floor. If you're like down there, like knocking on the floor. Make a roll. Let's say notice with wisdom or notice with intelligence, whichever.
Right.
Okay, yeah. So you're like knocking on the floor. The section of floor directly under the desk is like it rings a little, like it's like hollow, like there's something sitting on top of an empty space.
I point down like this at Booker, like fucking down here, we got him.
Yeah, and there's an edge kind of around it looks just like a metal panel. The floor is made up of them, and there's like a metal, one of the metal panels, and underneath that panel it seems to be hollow.
Okay, I will look at Booker and say, like the rooftop, this could be trapped. We already know that this assassin is particularly clever. See, I don't suppose you have any training in the bomb squad or anything like that?
Booker flicks back to a few different encounters where he had to do some sort of like bomb,
You're like, I've been exploded several times, but I wouldn't call that bomb squad
Yeah.
experience.
I think that's what he says. Like,
Well, I've been blown up several times. Recently, off of a ladder, but I don't think that qualifies me as a bomb expert.
I mean, I just hold up the golden arm, which was me being blown up, but yeah.
Same, bro.
All right, okay. So, well, the panel here seems to be loose and it's hollow underneath. So either the keyboard activates some sort of retraction, or it's simply a case of we move the desk and pull it up. Perhaps he leaned on the keyboard or something like that to steady themselves.
Maybe, yeah. Well, at least we have something.
Yeah. Well, I'll get to trying to move stuff off this panel and trying to see if I can pull it up, basically. Carefully.
Yeah, the edge of the panel is flush with the floor, but if you had like a crowbar or even like a knife, you could probably jam
Well,
it
my
in there.
arm can my arm can generate a medium advanced melee weapon, which could could that work? Like
Yes,
so-
yeah, that was precisely the opportunity I was offering you to make a cool
Yeah.
sword come out of your arm.
Yeah. Cool. Done.
Okay, all right. So you pop the sword at your arm and you jam it in the edge of the panel. The panel pops open with a
Yeah.
little bit of leverage, and yeah, underneath there is a rectangular kind of manhole-sized hole. It goes down into the dark underneath, and there is a ladder that is built into the wall.
This is just what we're doing to each other right here. Just
This is a lot of like
Yeah.
satisfying nodding. All right. So while the two of you are nodding
not
at each
crazy.
other, we crossfade. We crossfade over to Nomi and Vicky and other Nomi. So what is the plan over here for you two? These two chuckleheads are doing their thing. What do you guys want to do? You've got a little bit of information. You got a facial pattern on this person. What is the plan?
I don't remember what we did with the image. Did we like run it through? Did we get an ID?
I was wondering
positive ID?
Yeah, I was wondering about that too. And I don't know that you had decided what to do with it yet. I certainly don't have a note here about what you did with it, so I think you got it, but hadn't decided how to process it yet.
Yeah, because we just have a photo. We don't have anything else.
Yeah, you've got a loop in which this person is visible. This woman.
Mm-hmm. I know I sent it to Nomi's data pad, so maybe she can do something with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
Because Nomi, you're still in the car, right? So
Yeah.
you have this you've been watching this footage on your pad.
Okay. I mean, I don't know what I can do with it other than just like watch for the person. You know, I kind of like scan or like run it
Yeah, I
against.
mean, you have. Yeah, exactly. You can run it. The question is just like what database or like who do you give it to ask like, hey, find out who this is. Right. So you have like you can go to you could send it to Yancey, right? Send it through House Crux. You could take it back to the death list, though they're not like surveillance guys. You could send it to your house, right? Like you have contacts there. Yeah, it's just sort of up to you about who you want to who you trust with this information.
Can I roll for a connect to see if I have someone here on the planet who is
Fuck yeah, you can.
like a person that I would trust with this information?
Yeah, tell me more about this person. So they are trustworthy?
Yeah, I would say like maybe an old friend from when I was a kid. So like we go way back and maybe we're like at the academy together and that kind of thing. And so and probably like another Serpens who I would
Okay.
just trust with secret information like this. Maybe they are what's the title for the Serpens, like Secret Service dudes? So like Covert
the
ops.
secret serpents.
Secret serpents.
Let's see.
I forget what they're called.
Yeah, there are a few. It depends on kind of what you're looking for. Let's see.
It's either Fang or Scryer. I can't remember what the difference.
Yeah, the Fang is like Proa's like internal defense force. They're like police, and they like police and assassins. Scryers, nobody knows what they actually do outside the house. So this person could be a Fang, probably, or an executor. They're like intelligence.
Okay. Kind of like CIA.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Executors are field agents and operatives with autonomy in executing missions and operations. Highly skilled and trained to resist psychic manipulation. They have they're charged with secret tasks. Yeah, this sounds like an important, useful person to give this information to.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Cool. Old friend, an old helpful, useful friend of Nomi's. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's have you roll. Connect and charisma.
6.
Ooh, okay. So you can indeed connect with this person, but let's talk about there's a complication. There's some kind of like what I think you have a history. Like, why are you're not friends anymore, but you were. What was it that caused the two of you? What thing are you gonna have to get over before this person will want to help you?
Oh God, how much do I want to reveal? I would say that this person was involved in a mission that went poorly for me and someone else in the past, and it resulted in that person, the person that I was close to, not the executor, being taken away or killed or something. I don't know what happened. I just never saw them again.
Yeah, some terrible fate befell them.
Yep.
Okay. And they blame you for this?
I blame them.
Because they're not. Maybe you both blame each other.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let me find a name for this person. Do you have a preference for what their gender is?
No.
All right. Her name is Executor. Her last name is Holt, and her first name is Marion. Marion Holt. Okay. So she's been executing since the last time you saw her. You know that she's on Imperial Prime, and you both blame each other for the death of, let's come up with this dude's name. Let's see here. His name is Tomek Rin, which sounds like such a fucking Star Wars ass name, but it's a real person name, I swear. All right, Tomek Rin, a Serpens. Rest in peace, buddy. All right, cool. Good. Okay, so this person, how do you get in touch with them? Do you just call them up?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't think that there would be any other. I don't know if there's like a secret way of contacting them.
No, I mean, I imagine you have like channels, right? You use sort of same as like Crux has like their own comms protocols. You do too, within the house. Okay. Yeah. So Executor Holt doesn't like just answer her phone when people call. But you can leave her a message. What do you say?
It's like that thing when you're calling somebody and you're really hoping that they don't answer, but you need to talk to them, and so you're just like, well, shit. Voicemail, which is even worse.
Hey, good to talk to you. So, how have you been? I mean, you can't. This is a voicemail.
So there's like the leave a voicemail, and then I assume there's a beep.
Yeah.
And there's like kind of a
executor.
And Nomi says, Executor Holt. It's been a long time. I hope you are well. I wish to speak with you. I'm on the planet. Call me back at this number. Goodbye. And she just hangs up.
Okay. All right. So we cut outside. Bicky and Foamy are there. And I think, yeah, Foamy looks at you, Bicky, and says, well, do we think that's all?
Yeah, I don't foresee us finding anything else useful here. We should probably roll out.
Yes, as much as I'd like to stand around here and just wait for them to try to kill me again, best to see if we can set it on our terms. And she looks back at the car, and she starts to walk over to it. And Nomi, you and Foamy's cloned version of your pad both get a phone call at the same time. Would you like to roll initiative to see who answers it more quickly?
Okay.
All right. Take a +1 because you just made a call, so you like have the phone in your hand. So take an extra +1.
I just hit initiative.
Yes.
Am I supposed to?
Yep, that's fine. So do you get a 4?
Okay.
All right. So your phone rings half of a ring and then stops. But outside, Foamy picks up the phone. Bicky, you see her stop. She puts the handset to her head, and there's a moment where she's listening, and she says, "It has been a long time, Executor. Yes, I could use your help. That's right. I know. I think you'll understand when I show you what I have to show you." Of course. We'll be right there. And she looks at you and she says, an old friend of mine. She might be able to help.
Lead the way.
All right. So the two of you get back in the
This lady
car.
annoys the hell out of me because she's a tool and she's supposed to be a tool, but then she's like she's a Roomba and I just wanted a fucking vacuum cleaner, you know? And I'm just like, can you just not have a mind of your own and just be a fucking vacuum cleaner? And she's like, nah, bitch, I'm a Roomba and this is what we're doing now. And I'm like, you're more annoying than you are useful. And it's some point I'm gonna roll for patience and it's just gonna be all bad if it goes south.
Yes, Anne, you had a question?
So how much of that is her? How does she actually know who this person is because of like
she's just really she knows a little bit, but anything that is like personal or like secret, so she'd know who the executor is. She would know any like information that was shared with the Immortal Association by your house in an effort to give her enough to do her job. But she's also a real good faker. So she didn't say anything like, yes, I am sorry about that time that guy that we both were in love with died. Like, you know, she didn't say any of that. She just said enough to be like, oh, I know that this person doesn't like Nomi and they have a history and okay, all right, I'll sort my way through this.
She's a scroll.
Really good at like context clues and stuff like that.
That's right.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
She's a scroll.
Yep. Yeah. Or she's one of those fake psychics that gets you to tell her everything, and then she just feeds it back to you, and you're like, you can read my mind, because she's actually a fake psychic. So she gets back in the car with you, Bicky, and then she taps away something on her pad, and Nomi, your phone gets a notification of both a sent and received message, like you just texted yourself. And there's just a short message that summarizes the call that just happened. It just says like, Holt called us back. This is what I said. We're meeting them here. Does this address mean anything to you? And it's an address on the pad. You've never seen it before. You don't know where it is.
Okay, cool. So I'll just text myself, I guess.
Yeah.
That let's go.
Okay. Yeah.
But
all three of the vehicles.
Like, let's go, but you stay in the car or whatever.
Right, exactly. Let me handle this one. Okay, she replies and she says, I don't know if I'm comfortable with that. My job here is to protect you, to act in your stead.
Okay.
Her job is to be a fucking mannequin. She needs to simmer down.
Right. She's right though, because like if this is a trap, she gets out of the car and gets like shot, like that's the point of her. So yeah, I guess I like think it over for a bit and yeah, I'll just like follow her lead, I guess. Like I'm gonna let her take the reins a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We'll just see how it goes when we get there. I'm not sure how this is gonna play out, so
Yeah, sure. So the information, the address information is passed from the phone to the cars, and all the information appears up, and so the lead car pulls out, and then Vicky, you follow, and so the three of you head off in that direction. Yeah, it's fairly close by. You basically just go kind of up through the sections to a residential neighborhood. So it's a series of like arcology blocks with tons of people like living in them up above, and then there are sort of open plazas under the sky. And it's getting dark. It's starting to be night on this section of Prime, and there are people kind of coming and going in the areas. And the three of you park to the side of this open pedestrian area. It looks like the address you were given is a like a cafe, outdoor cafe with a patio, and there's like a fountain out front. And yeah, and so you stop, and Foamy looks at you, Vicky, and I kind of like, please, after you.
I mean, I don't like this location, but I'll do it.
Yeah, right. Like I think this whole situation is just like got you off balance, and like you're not having an opportunity to like tactically assess things, and it's like, and I think that's very real that you're feeling kind of off balance.
Yeah, it's like a really exposed, really awkward location, and then there's every chance that this person we're going to meet is going to realize this isn't Nomi, and then they might shoot her in the face. Like it's just like this is all bad.
I mean, you could try to convince Foamy that it's a bad plan, right?
Yeah, I'll probably say that. But I'm gonna play it her way. That way, she doesn't think I'm trying to undermine her because she's kind of bitchy.
Okay.
And just be like, with all due respect, this location isn't very secure. It's really out in the open, and considering the fact that we've had a sniper on our tail, as security detail, as your security consultant, I can't in good conscience recommend that we exit the car at this time. I think we should make contact with the individual in question again and arrange for a different meeting place.
Make a lead roll or a talk roll with charisma, whichever you prefer. I could see this being either thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll see how she responds. Oof.
I rolled a nat 1.
That's right. You got that 3. So she gives you this look, and she says, "Nonsense. If it is a trap, we're here to spring it anyway. Just stay close. Keep an eye out for danger. I trust you." She gets out of the car.
Okay, I'll follow her.
Okay. All right.
She's got a point, but I just feel like this is bad.
You're just like, you still like feel like, oh, and I mean, some part of it is like somebody hijacking your operation, but also like there's something about this that doesn't seem right. And it might be the fake version of Nomi that is walking around with you. So she gets out of the vehicle, walks across the sort of sidewalk, and is headed towards the cafe. And she stops outside, and you're maybe like, I don't know, you're a ways away. You're like maybe like 40 or 50 meters away from the cars.
Mhm.
And she stops before she goes in, and she turns around and she says, my relationship with this person is a bit complicated. I'm going to ask you to stay out here. I'm going to go in. I'm going to talk to the executor, and I'm going to suggest that she come with me back to the vehicles. I'd like this conversation to be brief, if possible.
I understand. If anything goes south, I'll be right here.
Very good. She turns and she goes inside. So the windows of this place are they're like tinted from the outside, so you see vague shapes through the window. You see her go in and the door closes, and then she kind of blends in with the rest of the shapes that are here. There are a few people sitting outside. The whole scene is very, very calm. There are people sitting, drinking tea, enjoying the sunshine, kind of as the sun goes down. It's like a nice spring evening, and you can hear the fountain kind of gurgling away, people's conversations, bits and pieces of them. But I think maybe, and you can tell me if I'm off base on this, but I think maybe the thing that is the overwhelming detail is how agoraphobic the whole situation makes you feel. Like you're seeing like nearby buildings that someone could shoot at you from, or like you're in this big open area and you don't have line of sight to either of the versions of your target.
Mhm.
What's Bicky's response to being in this situation?
Well, I never show that, even though my
Yes.
brain might be running 400 scenarios a second on how this shit can go south. And also discomfort at not being able to hear what the fake Nomi is saying to the target is also uncomfortable. But on the outside, it's just like, stone.
Yeah. Right. Cool. Yeah.
Mhm.
So we don't get to see any of that register for you. We just see this kind of stoic bodyguard outside.
Mhm.
And yeah, the people around here are real good at pretending that you don't exist, which is what you want, right?
Mhm.
Like these
Yeah.
are nobles, and they've seen bodyguards before, and nobody
Mhm.
gives you a second look.
Yeah.
And after what feels to you like 1,000 years, but is really probably only a few minutes, the doors open again, and Nomi comes out, and next to her is another woman, slightly older, with this kind of like calm authority that just like sort of drifts off of her. Like she moves with a self-assuredness that makes you think that she is certainly more capable than she appears to be. She's wearing like finery. She's not wearing armor. She's wearing like a nice like black and emerald like a blouse probably, and has some expensive jewelry on one wrist, but nothing else. Kind of shoulder length black hair, very straight. And she gives you a look. Her eyes like flick over you, like she already knows you. Like she expected to see you out here, and acknowledges you as her and Nomi, unspeaking, walk past you towards the vehicles.
Mhm. I'll like give her like a little nod since she kind of like acknowledged me and just like fall in line behind her, bring up
Mhm.
the rear. Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. So you walk back over to the cars, but instead of Foamy going to your car, she walks over to the one that Nomi is in
Mhm.
and puts a hand on the handle, and she gestures, and as she's opening the door, she says, "After you, executor." And she gestures inside. She holds the door open. The executor gets into the car, but before we cut to the interior, do you get in after her so that it's you and Nomi, the executor, and this other person in the other vehicle, or do you stay outside with fake Nomi?
I'd probably get in.
Okay.
Yeah. because like
Right.
that's like who I'm actually trying to protect. Like I don't give a shit if this bitch dies.
You're like fake.
No, I mean that's her job is to like
Yeah,
yeah.
So I would probably like get in, especially knowing that like Foamy dropped that tidbit that her and the executor don't get along. I feel like I'd probably get in the car just to make sure everything's
This
good.
person that hates Nomi's getting in the car with her. What do you do?
Yeah, alone. Yeah, probably gonna. I'm just gonna slide in there as well.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you get in. Foamy closes the door after you and then goes and like walks away and gets into her own car. Nomi, you are sitting in the back of this vehicle when first your old friend Marion and second Bicky get into the vehicle. The executor Holt makes only the slightest facial expression, like, well, that was a weird experience, right? Like she
Right.
she just leaves. It's like walking out of a room and into another room, and the same person is in both rooms. And she gets in and looks at you, and she says, Nomi.
Marion, thank you for meeting with me. I apologize for the circumstances. There has been some trouble since we landed on planet. How have you been?
Trouble keeps me very busy, as you can imagine. House business. She looks around and she looks at Bicky and the vehicle and she says, quite the security operation you've got going on here. All this just for a Cirrus.
Well, we were unfortunately met with some unfortunate circumstances when we arrived on the planet. And I have reason to suspect that my superior officer of the Crux may have a hand in it. So I'm not sure who to trust. We made contact with the Deathless and hired out their services. The woman that you met. I want to know if I can still trust you, Marion. I need your help.
She smiles, and it's not like a friendly smile. And she says, while you were off helping the Crux root out synths, I was here serving the house. And if I help you, it's not because I have any love for you, Nomi, but for the blood that runs in your veins. I serve House Serpents, and so long as you belong to them, I will do what I can to aid you. Tell me what you need.
When we arrived, we were met with a taxi cab that had a fallen or a murdered Serpens, Friedrich Lang, inside.
She nods as if this is not new information.
Right. We believe that it was a warning sent to me, and since then, more than one attempt has been made on my life or a member of my crew. We were able to capture the security image, and I kind of hand it over to her.
Yeah, you can just hollow project it into the air so she can look at it.
And we believe this woman is responsible for Friedrich Lang's death. However, I don't have any way of running this information by any sort of database that doesn't involve House Crux. As you yourself have said, you serve House Serpens, and with Crux acting the way that it has been, at least my superior officer, I want you to know that my loyalties lie with my blood. While I currently am serving House Crux, I am, at heart, looking to further the goals of Serpens.
It's good to hear. There were rumors. You might be abandoning us. It's good to hear that you're home, and while I'm sorry that you've run into some trouble, it means at least that you're important. You're upsetting someone. I don't understand. Why would they kill Friedrich Lang just to warn you? Why not kill you directly? Why not just, if they knew where you were, have you assassinated, blow up your car, something like that. Why try to scare you? Why Friedrich?
I don't know. Perhaps they're trying to turn me against House Serpens or against House Crux. Like you said, even you are questioning my loyalty, and as someone who was once one of my greatest friends and my truest confidants, if even you can question me, then I imagine House Serpens has their own questions, and it is time that we put these questions to rest. I do need to understand why this person was murdered. I don't understand his importance, and hopefully you can help.
She nods. Friedrich Lang was, well, doing the job you've been doing for Crux. Rooting out synths. Digging around. He must have found something that they didn't want him finding. That woman, probably one of his targets. Maybe she thought that he was calling in reinforcements from off-planet, that you'd come here to finish the job he started. So she killed him. But where there's one of those filthy things, you know there's more. You probably have a bigger problem on your hands than you think. That woman is not the only synth that's out to get you. And when she says that, we cut back to Gabriel and Booker. So the two of you have found the secret tunnel. What are you going to do?
Go into the secret tunnel.
I'll look over at Booker and probably at some point kind of suggest, like, it might be worth sending Nomi a quick update on just where we are, what we found. I mean, clearly this church of the... and, like, at this point, I think Gabriel's like, I'm pretty sure, like, I'm just going to make the accusation this House of Repentance is housing these synths. That's something that Crux and my church need to know about.
Yeah, I think you might be right. You try to communicate with her and give her an update.
Trying to decide if I should probably just send her a text.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll just be like updating up till now. Like track the assassin down to our location, you know.
You're not gonna call and ask for permission or anything. You're just gonna.
You just get a text that said. Well,
you could
You get a text that just. You get a text that just says.
Don't need permission.
Yeah, you get a text that says "found hole, going into hole." Smiley face with tongue sticking out.
Maybe
well,
robots.
the idea is that you can still text back immediately.
Okay.
Fine, I'll call. See, now this is. Would Booker have done this? I don't know. Is it influence?
You do whatever you want.
Well, given that he, no, it makes sense because given that Booker was called a bit ago from Nomi, and he still hasn't responded to that, he's going to call her back. So that does track.
Okay. My phone rings while I'm talking to Marion. And I look at it and I see that it's Booker and I wait for Foamy to answer.
Awesome. You just pass it up. She's useful. Takes calls you don't want. All right, Booker. The phone picks up and Nomi says, what is it, Booker?
Figured I'd give you an update on what's going on. We tracked the one who attempted to kill the Crusader Gabriel to a location here, and it appears he's gone underground under the building, and we're going to pursue. Had a minor interruption from the local authorities, but dealt with that.
Do you think that's safe? Just the two of you going in there alone?
We already discussed this.
Yes, and I'm confirming it. I'm asking you because I disagree. We already thought that the Crusader was killed once. I'd hate to have to deal with that again.
The Crusader understands the risks involved in the job, as do I. I'd rather not let this son of a bitch get away again. Have another chance.
If you think you can handle it.
I believe we can, and I don't think we have the choice.
Well, good luck then.
I'll look over while
Anything
Booker's
else?
talking. I'll look over to Booker and say, like, ask them for a location. It might be something that I'm familiar enough with that if I need to, I can get us close by. If there's an emergency, I can teleport.
The Crusader and I would prefer to know the location where you are, so that way, if we need to get there and something goes bad, you can get us there quickly.
We're in the middle of something sensitive. I don't trust this line. Let me know once you're done digging around. We'll meet up somewhere.
All right.
Okay.
And then he just hangs up.
Sounds good. Okay. So yeah, you look back. The conversation it's over. Gabriel, you're like fucking itching to dive into that hole, I imagine.
Well, actually, like after I kind of get to Booker, I'm gonna, the cops that were with us. Did they arrive in like
Yeah.
a squad car, or are they like beat cops or anything?
Yes, yeah, they arrived in a hover vehicle.
Okay, I want to go up to one of the officers. Maybe try and find the guy who was speaking to us earlier, the one that Booker went off to call it in.
Mm-hmm.
And find him and basically say, Officer, it looks like we're going to go into some close quarters, and my current armaments are not as well suited. Do you happen to carry any equipment in your car, particularly shotguns?
Make a talk roll with charisma.
Talk with charisma. With no modifier. That's a 10.
Nice. Okay. He nods and he says, "Yeah, sorry about before. Your story checks out. Just can't be too careful.
Oh,
You know, these kind of places." And he's like walking back with you to the vehicle. He says, "These kind of places, they they pop up, give people a sense of hope that, things are going to be okay. They feed people, and then they always turn out to be a front. You ever notice that? It's never just the chapel of giving away shit for free." Well, and he like opens the door and
the true church.
he reaches in and he takes out the center console shotgun and checks to make sure that its safety's on and that it's not like doesn't have a round chambered before he gives it to you. And he hands it over. And he says, "So you and Officer Greaves, you're going down there to bag a skin job, right?"
I just nod, like very softly, like.
Yeah. He shakes his head and he says with a degree of awe, "Damn."
I'll
For the job.
I'll come back to Booker, like walk back with him.
Yeah,
to
the two
Booker.
of you walk back in there.
And then I just kind of like pump it and sort of, just in case, if we're going into close quarters, I'd prefer to have something a bit more powerful.
Okay. So the real question, who's going down there first?
Mhm.
Gabriel, he can teleport.
I can't teleport with like shrapnel in his spine, but yeah, sure.
I mean, I've tried, yeah, but yeah, sure.
Yeah,
no.
yeah. It depends on how much
No, I'll
shrapnel.
go. This is my thing. Like I kind of drag Booker here. I'll take the lead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So yeah, it's a bit of a tight squeeze, but yeah, you can just climb down the ladder.
I think knowing
Hear
what we
beeping.
know, like I will definitely check. Yeah, like I want to keep a close eye on the bottom of the ladder, the sides of the ladder. Like I'm going in D&D mode now, where it's like
Yeah.
every 10 feet,
Looking up. Looking up everywhere. Perception.
Yeah, right. You get down there, and a giant spider lands on you.
I check for magic.
Okay. All right. Good.
Yeah.
You don't detect any.
Oh,
All right. So you begin descending. Okay. So partway down, your boot slips slightly, not enough to make you fall, but like there's a squeak of like the rubber on the bottom of your boot as it slips on. One of the rungs is like wet.
Bring it up to my like blood. I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's definitely blood. Yep.
He's still wounded. Well, they're still wounded. And I'll carry on.
Still
Okay.
warm.
All right. So you
Yeah,
get down
that's a good
there.
question. Is it still warm, Adam? That's a good question.
I don't know how long it takes
What
for
is the
blood
body-
to cool. I don't have like a crime guy that I
If
can
you don't
call
know
and like
this,
do my
what kind of
research.
GM are you?
Right?
Oh, there's
Yeah,
a
I
blood
don't
splatter.
know if it would. I don't know if it would still be. But I can tell you that probably the thing that you are looking to answer is true. Yes, I don't know if it would still be warm or not, but it's recent.
Fresh.
It hasn't
Recent, okay.
congealed or anything. It's fresh.
Fresh
Yeah.
blood.
Okay, yeah, congeal. Yeah, I suppose that takes a while. Okay, cool. Right, carry on.
Blood is
Push forward.
always cool. All right, so you climb down into the bottom. Do you have like a flashlight or something? It's dark
I've
down
got
here.
a tool belt. I've got the utility belt, which I believe has a flashlight.
Does it shine a light in the
Oh, no,
shape
Jason
of a
had
cross?
that. I don't have that actually anymore.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I mean, I
Book
feel
Yeah,
like
I mean,
I
you
would
could
have
have
a standard issue.
you could have requisitioned a flashlight from one of the cops. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So Gabriel gets down to the bottom. It's dark down here. Booker, you follow?
Yeah.
Okay, and then Booker, you have the light and
Mhm.
turn it on and you can shine it down. Okay. Yeah, there is a short tunnel that leads away from here. And there is blood. There's a bloody handprint on the wall, and there's some boot prints, some half boot prints on the floor. It looks like this person has been they're worse off. Like the run probably hurt them.
Yeah, took it out of them, right?
In addition, yeah, they're getting run down.
Let's go.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Booker
so
gives you a nod,
continue-
like he's got like pistol in one hand, and
continue down
doing
the
the
continue
cool
down the hallway.
thing.
unless he's able to have the rifle like going right now. Could he have the rifle slung like?
It's not like a
like a
it's not like a
light
bullpup
attack.
SMG kind of like rifle, so it's not
So it's a
great
big
for
rifle.
this. Like,
Yeah, it'll just be
Yeah.
then he'd have the regular pistol then. One pistol out, the flashlight over like that. Resident
Yep.
Evil style. You know what I mean?
that's right. Yeah, cool. An enormous gray man comes up and punches you to death. The
We're
hallway
in the sewers,
ends the hallway ends at a metal door. The door is hanging open slightly, and there's another like a bloody handprint on the door.
They stack up on either side of the door. And
You
then-
can't really like the hallway is
It's not
so
enough
tight.
space.
You're like walking one behind the other.
Okay. Can I see anything in the room, or is it like the door kind of like half shut?
No, the door is like a little ajar, but you can't like.
Okay.
can't
I'll just
see
turn
much.
around to Booker and sort of like give him the nod of like, okay, get ready.
Yeah, not
Pull the
back.
door open as quietly as I can, and then peer in.
Okay.
Try and look
All right.
to get to cover.
Yeah, so you open the door. It's a small room. Like this isn't like a secret like network of tunnels. It's like a crawl space and then a little cellar room. So it's like a little metal box basically underground. There is a cot on the floor. There is a shelf on one side with some like cans, some like Acre brand food cans. There's a bunch of bottles of water, and lying on the floor in a puddle of their own blood, there is a person. They're face down. The room is lit, not just by your flashlight, but by the bluish green glow from a device that seems like it is like either in their hand or was in their hand, and they're laying face down. And they like dropped it, and the screen is beaming light onto the ceiling.
Check the room just to be sure. I mean, I guess it's fine, but it's quite small. Just enter
nothing
carefully,
around
I
in here.
guess. Yeah. But don't approach the body just yet.
Okay.
Keep gun trained on it just in case.
Booker's gun's
Okay,
trained on the
yeah.
body.
It's laying face down, not moving.
Good. Bitches.
Okay, I'll look over.
And you
at
kind of
Booker and
wish
be-
that it would get up so you could shoot it, right? But
shoot it again.
All right.
yeah, you can make
I'll nod-
if you're gonna like scan the room, Gabriel or whatever, you're like looking for danger. Make a notice check.
With intelligence or wisdom?
Wisdom in this case.
Should I could help, I guess.
Yeah,
by
you can help.
scanning as well.
Booker.
Notice with wisdom. Or int.
Yeah. So Booker, if you get a 7 or better, then Gabe, you'll get the +1.
Notice with intelligence as well.
Yeah, do it.
Hap.
It's actually with wisdom, Booker,
Oh,
but
well.
that's fine. Gabriel got a 10. You're good.
Boom, boom.
So yeah, there you don't see. What do you, I guess what are you looking for, Gabe? This looks like a
Threats,
bomb
just in
shelter,
case.
basically.
Yeah, bomb shelter, but because potentially this one is the one that set the traps before. Like I'm checking for like a dead man switch or like a he's got the device in one hand but he's clutching.
You
like
recognize-
a claymore to, like turn around.
No,
and
you
all that.
recognize the program that's open. It's a phone, basically like a pad in their hand. You recognize the program that's open. It is like a temporary, like a burner text message service. So you like buy a passcode to it, you can use it, and then it burns out and erases all of its history. But this one still has like some messages left on it, and it's open, and they were in the middle of composing a message.
I'm not to Booker. I'll move up to the body.
Okay.
Keeping like the shotgun sort of like in one crooked arm, like holding, like pointing down to it, and try and slide the device out to get a hold of it.
Yeah, you can just use your foot to like push it away from their hand.
Yep.
Yeah, there's like there's bloodstained like thumbprints on it. And you push it, and yeah, you like crouch down. You can read the message. It looks like it's all the messages, the history before it either doesn't exist or was deleted. So it's the first message in a chain, and it says June, like the name Jun, not the month, which I guess is also a name, but June. I'm sorry, and then some gibberish.
Is that from sender or from sendee?
That is a message that this person was attempting to send before they passed out.
Or died.
Yes, that happened after the passing out.
Okay, and there's nothing else on this pad.
No.
Okay. I'll look over to Booker and be like, it's possible that maybe some of our agents might be able to pull something off of this, find out some more information, but it's just a normal message. We maybe have a name, June.
Yep.
Here. And then I'll kind of push the face over so I can see him and just confirm if this is the same. I'm guessing it's the same one.
Yes. Yeah. This is definitely the person. You followed them here from here, and their injuries. Yeah, their injuries. They're dead.
That's the same. Cool.
Yeah.
Goddamn
So
right.
turn them over, and they're
Miss.
dead from the wounds, and then the run, and yeah.
Sick.
Well,
Slightly disappointing.
Yeah, so it's I mean, from a glance, and you've seen this 1,000 times, Booker, probably not actually 1,000, but I mean, this person looks like a human being. They are like dusky skinned, bald head. They have kind of like gray green eyes. They're either, I mean, that they were genetically engineered to be this way, but they look like they really work out. Like their muscles are very, very well defined. They got a lot of like lifting bulk. If you had to guess, this person was probably some kind of like either security or like labor model. But he's like handsomer than you'd expect like a labor model to have been made. Yeah, once you can get the thing into processing, you can get its serial number and figure out like what its original purpose was. But yeah, it's dead now.
Confirmed synth.
Yeah. I mean, you can't yet, but you'll be able to soon.
Yeah, it looks.
Yep.
Yeah. Is there like a sheet on the cart that we can just use to like wrap it up in for the time being before we can get like a morgue team or a forensics team?
Yeah, basically, if there's anything you want to do while you're down here, you can, and then we can cut to the kind of like Crux backup shows up, and like there's a team that takes the body away, and like, but you have control of the situation right now before all the post processing happens.
I look over at Booker. This is more his scene now. My side of things is more done. It's dead.
Yeah,
I cared about.
Booker like takes note of certain things, looks for where he could find serial number if it's written on the body or anything like that. Just his
it'll be encoded. It'll be encoded in the DNA. Yeah.
Okay.
Then Booker ponders for a moment. And he says to Gabriel, I'm pretty damn sure this is a synth, as we suspected. The question is, do we want to report it in just regularly to local crux authority, or do we want to report in to Nomi?
Nomi would
All
want to
this
know about
goddamn subterfuge and shit going on potentially makes me a little apprehensive and think a little bit longer on how we want to proceed.
Yes, I do think that perhaps handing into local crux authority, I'd rather that the jurisprudence took this one into authority. As much as we can trust them, at least we know the people there. Unlike this planet, we don't know anyone, a few individuals. I think Nomi should be aware. She'd want us to know that we found them, that our mission is completed, our search for this individual is completed. But there is something that doesn't add up. I also need to report this to the church. If this person was clearly being hidden here by the church repentance, so this needs to be taken higher eventually. But if you have something in mind, Greaves, I trust your investigative skills and your expertise in this. My job is more to hunt these things down and kill them. You're the detective.
I think I'm going to call Nomi one more time, even though I don't want to bother her, especially if she's on mission right now. She seemed very briefer than normal. Maybe she's in a mood. I don't know.
They're probably dealing with something of their own kind. And Booker, I just want to say again, thank you for helping me with this. Having this person chasing after me over my shoulder, it was going to be a problem, and I appreciate you coming to help.
No problem. I'd want to know, too, if it was me. Besides, apparently it wouldn't have been a problem anyways, but now we know for sure, and we can get some more answers. All right. We contact Nomi. See where we go from here.
All right.
All right. So meanwhile, while the two of you are doing this, before you as you get ready to contact Nomi, meanwhile, Nomi, you are with your friend. Is there so she says to you, she says, send me that video file. I'll have my office run it. If we can pull some information on that person, that might help get you in the right direction. It looks like you're pretty well protected. She looks over at Bicky. So you'll be all right.
Yes, I think for the time being, the purpose of the imposter is to hopefully root out anyone who might be making an attempt on my life, as you understand. However, I am concerned that they knew exactly where I was going to be staying when I arrived on the surface, so we are trying to stay on the move as much as we can.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I'm sorry to say this, Naomi, but wherever you run, that information leak is going to follow you. Friedrich Lang was investigating a mole in House Crux. A synth, somewhere in their intelligence division. I think that's why this synth knows where you are. I think that's why it's chasing you, and I think that's why it killed Friedrich Lang, to try to warn you off. Stupid move of the thing, really. Should have just killed you, because now here we are. Her pad, beeps, and she's got it mounted on, a watch, and she looks at it, and she scowls. And she says, just as I thought. It's a report filed by Lang just a day or so before he was killed. And she swipes it to you. And you see, you've seen this paperwork a bunch of times before. This is a page from the greater House Cygnus synthetic individual database. And it displays there's a woman with kind of a severe face. She looks she looks like she's like a trained killer. She looks like somebody who could strangle you to death with a shoelace. And we've got the hologram of her head rotating around, and underneath there is a serial number and some basic information. This is an intelligence and black ops synthetic model. Cygnus Factory, original purpose has been redacted. Right, it's a piece of information that Cygnus blasted out of their database before they had a chance, and it's definitely the woman that snuck up on you. And She swipes through a couple of pieces of information and she says, it looks like we have an alias. A June Ariaki.
Does that name mean anything to you?
She shakes her head. No, not to me. Maybe she took it from someone she killed. This one looks like a tricky one. A real assassin, not just a killer. Which again makes me wonder why she didn't just kill you outright. Maybe the thing thinks it has a soul. They're pathetic. And then your phone
Maybe
rings.
it's not stupid so much as maybe it was trying to coerce you. I mean, you came on this planet to make a recommendation to the council. Maybe it's trying to get you to make the recommendation it wants. You can't do that if you're dead, because then they would just send someone else to replace you.
Yes, perhaps
Could
they
be that
were.
one of our candidates is a synth.
Perhaps they were unable to influence Friedrich Lang in the same way, and found it necessary to dispose of him since he was no use to them.
Exactly.
A political skin job. Fascinating. I suppose it's possible. They're not really my matter of expertise. I tend to have to deal with humans.
Does it say anything else in the report? Perhaps what clues Friedrich Lang may have been investigating else other than the name? Somewhere we could go to find more about this June Ariaki, or herself, perhaps.
I only know what Lang knows. I can look into it, but I think this is where this particular trail ends. You've got a name, serial number. Maybe Crux has access to the database that we don't. You have to be careful. If this one is a mole in the House of Crux, anything you say through or to any member of that house, she might learn. You're going to want to be careful dealing with, and I think that's when Booker calls you.
Okay. So my phone rings again, and I'm kind of annoyed because we're like in the middle of the conversation, and so without like really thinking about it, I just pick it up immediately. Booker.
Yep.
We located the one who went after Gabriel. He's dead. Appears to be a synth.
Do you have an identity?
Not as of yet. I just wanted to make sure to let you know. Current recommended action is we get the jurisprudence to send someone down here and pick him up. I'd rather not hand him over to the local authorities.
We do
So
know
your
at
trail
least somebody. I think, yeah,
Yep.
if Gabriel can jump in, he says, they were attempting to contact someone. Appeared to be, we have the traces of an old burner phone. One message still remaining. It says, June, I'm sorry. And then it turns to gibberish.
Very interesting. It seems that your trail and mine have finally met. Perhaps it is time for us to reconvene.
Perhaps the burner phone be hacked. Maybe give us a number that can be traced or something similar. At least give us a location.
Perhaps. You're convinced that this synthetic you have found is in fact deceased and or non-working anymore.
I mean, we could shoot him again, but I'm pretty damn sure.
Then perhaps we should send someone to retrieve them. Make contact with the jurisprudence. Ask them to send a team to collect this synthetic. However, make no mention of the burner phone or the name that you retrieved.
Would you like us to keep those in our custody? Or care, rather?
Yes, keep them with you. We're still investigating this matter. However, it's might be prudent for us to keep that to ourselves for the time being.
Understood,
Agree.
Sirius.
I hang up the phone.
Okay.
Bye.
Damn.
So then I just look at Marion and I say, It appears that we have a dead synthetic who was attempting to make contact with this June Ariaki. We have his burner phone. Do you have anyone who could take the phone and perhaps find some more information? I'm afraid that none of my team is very skilled in technology.
She kind of scowls slightly, and she looks at Vicky and looks at you, and she says, "I'm sure your friends in the Deathless can help you out with that."
Perhaps. Perhaps I don't trust the Deathless as much as I trust you.
Is there any reaction from Vicky when she says that? I mean, I imagine not, because Vicky's like Stonewall, but yeah, okay. So you're gonna have to try to convince her, because she kind of is just like, listen, I don't like you, and I helped you as much as I'm gonna help you, but you could push her.
Okay.
Yeah, make a talk and charisma roll.
Okay. 13.
Nice. Okay. So she says, I'll do what I can. Have a courier deliver the phone to an address. I'll send it to you later.
Thank you, Marion. I appreciate your help.
Yeah. Well, I suppose it's nice seeing you, Nomi. And she puts a hand on the door to open it and to leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's like an awkward, like it seems like she's kind of pausing and like waiting for.
Well, she's giving you, she gives you a second if there's anything that you want to say. She does it slow on purpose.
Yeah. Nomi looks like she wants to say something, but as Marion gets out of the car, she like closes her mouth again, and like her jaw looks really tight. And then as the door closes, then she says, "Yes, nice to see you too, Marion." And that's it.
Yeah, cool. Okay. So back at the crime scene, this is the sort of next bit. So time has passed. We don't watch them like bundle up the corpse and drag it up out of the hole or whatever, but the whole place is now, as happens, overcompensated with police officers. There's like 12 of them here, 12 Crux guys. There's a bunch of like Prism reporters outside trying to like get the scoop. The whole place has been closed. And various people, various little Shawnites trying to just get where they're going. So there's all this bright light and everything. And the two of you, where are you? Are you inside? Is there anything you want to do with the body? Where's the body going to end up? You're technically under jurisdiction.
Yeah, we would have contacted the Prudence and had them send a special team down to retrieve the body. And we would have taken the device that they were.
So here, I'll give you the protocol, and if you want to deviate from it, we'll get you to make a roll. But so the protocol is if you want to take the body up to the ship, it goes with the local cops to get processed at their place and then held there until a shuttle comes from the ship to get it. They can't send it. I mean, you're too far down for them to send somebody to get it directly, unless you like really push for it.
Yeah, we're gonna really push for it.
Yeah, you're gonna try to like be like, no, you don't understand. You got to do it this way. Okay, all right.
Also, I probably go on.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I could probably subtly kind of, communicate to Booker that worst case scenario, I can probably just pick up that body and get myself 100 kilometers.
Get out of here, yeah.
Yeah, like
I will take him into space myself.
Yeah.
Well, so here's the thing. Make a luck.
Yeah,
let's make a luck roll. Let's make a luck roll first.
Okay.
Booker, I think you're the one making it here.
Okay.
I'll explain.
You can do it, Booker.
Okay.
Yes, I can.
All right. So
yes, I can.
You are lucky. You're lucky. The Prudence is done being like overhauled. The 24-hour overhaul or whatever is finished. It's in the same system, but it's not in orbit around. So it'll take several hours for the Bruins to get here. But it also, like, it's together. It's capable of moving, so they can do that. But now we'll see if they're willing to. So you can make a lead roll with charisma, Booker, to make your case, and if you succeed, they will come refitted and ready to go. Okay, all right. So they'll do it, but there's a problem first. You need to know what to do with this body for the several hours that the ship is going to take to get here.
Like
and if it's
cards on
not
it?
turn it and if it's not turn it over, well, the thing is, if it's not turn it over to the Crux, what are you going to do with it?
I mean, we're going to stay by the body and make sure that it's not tampered with. I would imagine. I don't think we're going to leave unless immediately recalled back by Nomi, but she has her own operation going on. So I think me and the Crusader are going to stay right by it and not allow anybody else by it except for approved people from us.
We could take
And if-
it
and if-
to.
Okay.
I was going to say we could take it to Bicky's chum, the one that was helping folks out.
Yeah, we could do that. I think wait it out if we can here in like the current state.
And then if we need to,
and if not, you teleport out with it. And I'm like,
I will
can
say this.
teleport straight up,
I'll remind you, because it's been a little while. If you need somewhere to temporarily store a body that's kind of off the grid, or even if you need someone to like run some scans on it and maybe give you some more information, you do know somebody. You were recently in his clinic getting shot at. He's not super happy with you right now, but
I have no idea who you're talking about.
So yeah.
Well, maybe that thought strikes. Maybe that's thought.
Yeah, Achilles is an option if you want somewhere to
maybe
hide
that thought
him.
comes
But
into the only thing that I don't like about that is that they're clearly aware of that location, whoever these people are.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll bring that up. Let's bring that into. Booker's like, we wanted to expedite and get some information from this body. We could take him back to Achilles. The only thing is, whoever he works for, they obviously already know about that location, so I don't know how I feel about that. Alternatively, we're just going to have to stay here until, we have the proper team from the Prudence come.
Well, whoever they work for will also know about this location. Clearly, it's some sort of safe house for at least this agent, so they know about it. Does it look like, Adam, on the burner phone, did it look like the message had been sent, or he never got a chance to send it?
No, he never got a chance to send it.
Okay, so I'll look over and Brooke and be like, judging by this message, I don't believe that whoever this June is knows that our friend here has failed and is currently dead.
Agreed.
Chances are we might be safer here for the time being, or back at Achilles. Either way, I don't think that they would know to come and look for us, provided we can get there without anyone noticing, which I can achieve.
I mean, if they look at any sort of the feeds, they're going to know something's going on in this location. One would reasonably assume perhaps death, or at the very least the discovery of this hidey hole, as it were.
Yes. Well, we could send away the local police, keep the body here, tell them that we'll stand by watch, and then I take you, me, and the body to Achilles. I'm familiar with the location. I don't believe it's too far away. That way we'd bypass any cameras. Nobody would see us leave.
Or we could just leave.
It's up to you.
The only thing I'm anticipating is some pushback from the local authorities. They're going to want to get involved. They just are.
The local ones, perhaps we can leverage something here. Perhaps there is a minor victory for them and for us as well. After all, it was their timely intervention that allowed us to help capture the synth. Perhaps there's something we can leverage there. A chance for you to get some good accolades. Heroic Crux officers reveal synth plot.
I don't know if we want to say that out loud to the public just yet.
Fair enough.
We could say track down a known terrorist threat.
Possibly, yes. Or we can just try and wait it out here and guard this location, and then Achilles is our backup. If we need to get out of here quickly, that's something that can be achieved.
I think let's wait it out. And if
All right.
for some reason we get pushback and pressure from the local authorities here, then we'll dip Sen out of here to Achilles.
Very well.
You got any
Okay.
playing cards on you?
So the plan is just to like set up a perimeter and be like, don't anybody go anywhere. We got to stay here until in a few hours they can pick up, someone can come from the prisons and pick up the body.
Pretty much. Yeah.
That's the plan. Okay. Yeah. Cool. All right. So yeah, we kind of pull back on the scene. There are some cops. I think that cop that originally like gave you the shotgun is like outside giving an interview about, like, yeah, I was the first one here. We got called in because, we heard there was a problem, and like he's trying to play himself up as like having been a part of the operation. We see that a team has come in, and there's like people holding them back and like being like, sorry, this place is closed. There is a religious advisor, like someone from the church has come to be like, so you're closing down this chapel. I knew it was heretics all along. Right. And there's this big scene basically. And as we slowly sort of pull out and fade out on that. So let's take a break here, and we'll come back and we'll get this body into space, and we'll get everybody reunited, and we'll see if we can't catch some more synths. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more.